Chapter 5. The Quiet Evaporation. Black holes do not last forever. In the stillness, something escapes, one particle at a time. This is Hawking radiation, the faintest whisper from the edge of darkness. Even black holes fade. Even endings end. There is a kind of silence that is not empty. It hums gently beneath everything, like breath, like the space between heartbeats tonight. That silence has shape. You drift near the edge of it, the outer rim of a black hole, a place you once thought was the end. You are not afraid, because by now you know, in the universe, endings are not what they seem. Even darkness has motion. Even silence has a rhythm. And so, as you float in this deep, curved space, you listen. The black hole does not roar. It does not collapse with a crash or a cry. It simply waits, heavy, patient, bending time around it like a blanket. But this is not forever. You may have heard, nothing escapes a black hole. But that is not entirely true. Not entirely. Because in the very stillest places, at the edge of light, where space itself curves into shadow, a whisper begins. It is not loud, it is not fast, it is not even certain, but it is real, a faint flicker of something, not from within the black hole, but from just outside it. A breath so slight, you might miss it if you weren't so still. This is Hawking radiation, named not by the universe, but by one of its quietest listeners, a man in a chair who looked into the dark and asked, "What happens to forever?" Stephen Hawking imagined something strange and beautiful, that black holes might glow, not brightly, not visibly, but subtly, giving off tiny particles, one by one, as if even the deepest gravity still had something to give. You hover near that edge, now the event horizon, and you wonder, how could something so strong, so devouring, ever let anything go? But the answer is not power, it is uncertainty. At this edge, space itself flickers. Pairs of particles appear, just for a moment, one positive, one negative, born from the vacuum, from the fabric of space that is never truly still. Usually, they vanish again, canceling each other, like a breath exhaled into wind. But here, near the horizon, sometimes one particle falls in, and the other escapes. Escapes, not far, not fast, but enough to leave a mark. You imagine it now, a tiny flicker, a grain of warmth, leaving the coldest possible place, not with noise, not with light, but with release. You might think it strange that a black hole, made of everything it swallowed, could lose even a sliver of itself. But that is the miracle. What falls inward does not stay untouched. It curves time, it changes what's around it, and over the longest distances, longer than any human life, longer than stars can burn, the black hole begins to give itself back, not as a gift, not as a punishment, just as part of the story. A quiet evaporation, not steam, not ash, not decay, just the slow softening of something once thought eternal, and you, floating here in the slow pull of gravity, can feel it. You do not see fireworks. You do not hear an ending, but something within you recognizes this motion. You know what it means to release slowly, to let go of what you held without a crash, like breath leaving lungs, like grief turning into memory, like sleep finding you gently. That is what Hawking radiation is. The slow return of energy from a place that once only took. The universe does not rush it. Time here is wide and slow. The black hole does not vanish in a moment. It fades, softly, tenderly, as if darkness itself learns to exhale, and you are here to witness it. You stay floating, not drifting further, not moving back, just staying. The black hole remains in front of you, massive and silent. But now, something in you sees it differently. It no longer feels like an end. It feels like a transformation. It doesn't scream or collapse. It doesn't pull everything in with fire. Instead, it gives something back. Tiny sparks of itself, slowly leaving into the quiet. You wonder what it means to disappear like that, to take in so much for so long, and then begin to let it go. Not in a storm, but in a whisper. That's what Hawking radiation is. A whisper. A soft breath from the edge of an unseeable place. A letting go stretched across billions of years. You don't feel the particles. You don't see them. But you know they are there, because change always leaves a trace. Entropy, the universe calls it. The great unmaking. The tilt toward stillness. Not a punishment, not a failure, just the nature of time itself. And even the most powerful things cannot escape time. The black hole was once a star. It was bright. It burned with fusion and light and heat. It pulsed and gave life to things you'll never see. And then it collapsed. Not from weakness, but from reaching the limit of what it could hold, and now it is giving again. Different this time. Quieter. You realize this is not destruction. It is continuation. It is change, wearing the soft clothing of silence. Even the universe, with all its vastness, knows how to let go one breath at a time. You feel this deeply now. In your ribs, in your chest, in your slowing thoughts. You are not being pulled. You are being shown what it means to fade without fear. Your own body has known this. The slow growing, the slow releasing, cells turning over, bones reshaping, skin remembering sunlight that touched it years ago. Nothing is held forever, and yet everything becomes something else. Even the deepest gravity, even the blackest hole, even the silence here. You look again at the space around you. The stars are distant, but present. Their light doesn't reach into the black hole, but it does reach you. You are between things, between what cannot return and what still shines, and from this place, you can see both. You begin to understand that Hawking radiation is not just about particles. It's about impermanence, about how even the most powerful things are part of the same cycle as you. What goes in may stay hidden, but not forgotten. What fades still leaves warmth behind. You imagine this billions of years from now, when the black hole is smaller and smaller still, until it is just a sigh in space, and then, perhaps, not even that dot gone, not in violence, but in completion. A story told in reverse, from collapse back to breath, and maybe that's the truest kind of peace. No fear, no end, just a return. You rest in this thought now, held gently by gravity that no longer wants to take, but to teach. Not everything needs to last to be meaningful. You are drifting at the edge of one of the deepest truths the universe knows, that even what seems final can fade with grace. You exhale, the black hole remains, still, slowly vanishing, bit by bit, a quiet fading that takes longer than you can imagine. And yet, the process is already happening, already underway. Because even black holes, with their great hunger, must one day become light again. You close your eyes, and the darkness feels less like emptiness and more like potential. You have learned something here, not just about gravity or particles or time, but about yourself, about how letting go can be its own kind of survival, about how fading is not the same as vanishing, even endings. And in their place, a new rhythm begins.